Welcome to a quick journey into the beauty of projective geometry. In this video, we will project three distinct points on one line onto any three distinct points on another line using two perspectivities. Next, we will determine the image of a given point under the projectivity established by these transformations, like the image of D on this line. Finally, we will explore how three distinct points on one line can be mapped onto three distinct points on the same line. Like this, A, B, and C will be projected onto the same line using three perspectivities. Three distinct points A, B, and C on one line may be projected into any 3 points, A prime, B prime, and C prime, on a second line by means of a sequence of at most 2 perspectivities. Okay, let's do this here. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to choose the center of perspectivity along line A prime. Let's say A prime is this line. Let's choose a center of perspectivity here. Let's say, for example, S. Let's say S. And then your next step is to identify a line. Let's say L2. Let's call that L2, such that we call this L2. L2, we'll call it L3. So identify a line, let's call it L3, such that it passes through A prime, but not through B prime and C prime. Okay, let's have this one. Let's call that L3. And then your next step is to identify points B double prime and C double prime on L. Okay, so we will have S as the center of perspectivity. And then, so this will be B double prime. And then we will also have C. Okay, C is here. And then this will be C double prime because we are using S as the center of perspectivity. Okay, so here we already have A, B, C is perspective with A prime, B double prime, C double prime with S as the center of perspectivity. Next, what we're going to do is we identify the intersection of lines C prime, C double prime, and B prime, B double prime. And that will be our center of perspectivity so that we can have A prime, B double prime, C double prime perspective with A prime, B prime, C prime. So if we will connect C prime and C double prime and B prime and B double prime so that they're going to be perspective, we will have the intersection as our center of perspectivity for the second perspective. And then, of course, the A prime and the A double prime will just be the same. So let's have a line here. We don't need to do this, but let's put a line there so that we can see that they are perspective with respect to S prime. So here we now have A prime, B prime, B double prime, C double prime. It's here. A prime, B double prime, C double prime is perspective with this one. A prime, B prime, C prime with S prime as the center of perspectivity. If that's the case, we can already conclude that since this is a series of perspectivities, we can already say that A, B, and C are projected into A prime, B prime, C prime because of these two perspectivities. So we have shown here that three distinct points A, B, and C on one line may be projected into any three distinct points on a second line by means of a sequence of at most 2 perspectivities. Okay, this time let us make the order of A, B, and C here on the second line different. So we will do the same. Okay, just follow the steps. Connect A and A prime because that will be a line where we will identify a point of or a center of perspectivity. So any point on that line, except of course for A and A prime. Let's call that S. Okay, let's have identify. Next is identify a line through A prime but not containing B prime and C prime. So maybe we can have it here. Let's call it line 3, L3. So we will have the S as the center of perspectivity. So we should project, or we should have a C double prime and B double prime on that line. So connect C and the center of perspectivity so that C and C double prime are along one line. Also B and the center of perspectivity so that will be your B double prime. So there we already have A, B, and C. So we have A, B, C, perspective with A prime, B double prime, C double prime. And with S as the center of perspectivity, and then we should also have A prime, B double prime, C double prime, perspective with A prime, B prime, C prime, so that A, B, and C are projected into A prime, B prime, C prime. So next step is connect C prime and C double prime, because the intersection of C prime and C double prime, C prime, C double prime with B prime, B double prime, and then B prime and B double prime. Okay, so the intersection is here. That will be the second center of perspectivity. Okay, let's call it S prime. And that's it. We already have A prime, B double prime, C double prime, perspective with A prime, B prime, C prime. As A looks like A prime and A double prime will be the same point. With S prime as the center of perspectivity, and therefore we already have A, B, C projected into A prime, B prime, C prime. Okay, what if we are asked here of, let's say, the image of a certain point E here, let's say E. Then use the center of perspectivity and identify E double prime on L3. So this is your E double prime. And then connect E double prime with the second center of perspectivity and identify the intersection with L2. That will be your E prime. E prime. So here, E prime. What if we have point D from this line? Okay, and we will project it to L2 with this A prime, B prime, C prime. How does the image of D look like? So first, we need to project it to our second line using S as the center of perspectivity. So this will be the D double prime. And then connect this point using the second point of perspectivity, or using the center of perspectivity, and then draw a line. So it intersects the second line L2 here, and that will be the image of D. So the image can be uniquely determined. If you already have this one, you already identified your two perspectivities. For example, another one, what if we have point E somewhere here? Point E, so you just use the first center perspectivity, project it up perspective to the second line. So this will be your E double prime. And then connect E to L2, passing through the second center of perspectivity. Okay, so if we extend L2, they will meet somewhere here on top, somewhere here. So that will be your image of E. Okay, what if we're asked to project A, B, C into A prime, B prime, C prime, but they're along one line? So we just need to add an additional step, and then we will proceed with the steps that we had a while ago, from one line to another line. So what step are we going to add here? We will have, let's say, for example, identify a center of perspectivity. Let's call it S1. And then any line other than the given line, let's call the given line L sub 1, and identify a line L2 where we're going to have A, B, and C perspective with A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. Okay, let's make some adjustments here. We'll make S here, S sub 1 here, so that we can intersect them. Okay, the intersection of L2 with line A S sub 1 is going to be our A double prime. And then B, that will be B double prime. And then for C, okay, that will be C double prime. So we already have here A, B, C perspective with A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. Next step is we will have another perspective from A prime, B double, A double prime, B double prime, C double prime onto another line. So we will follow the steps a while ago here for identify or for projecting points from one line to another line. So first step is connect this and identify a center of perspectivity. A double prime and A prime, identify a point on that line except for the two. Let's say, for example, this one. That will be our second center of perspectivity. Let's call it S sub 2. And then make a line passing through A prime, not containing B prime and C prime. Okay. Let's call it L3. And then project or have that one as the intersection of, or we will have B double prime and C double prime. We have perspective with this, using this as the center of perspectivity. Okay, so this will be B triple prime, and then C double prime using this as center of perspectivity. Okay, we have this one as C triple prime. And then connect these two, C triple prime, C prime, and identify the intersection with B prime, B double prime. B triple prime, B prime. Okay, connect C triple prime, C prime, that's one line, and B triple prime, B prime. The intersection will be the third center of perspectivity. So we have here, this time, A double prime. A while ago, we already have, for this center of perspectivity, because here we used a while ago, this is S1. For S2 here a while ago, we have B double prime, perspective with B triple prime, C double prime, perspective with C triple prime, and then A double prime with the same, because we're using our A prime as A triple prime, C2, and A2 is with A prime. So A double prime, B double prime, C double prime is perspective with A prime, B triple prime, C triple prime, because our A prime is like our A triple prime. And then using the last, this one is with the center of perspectivity S2, A and A double prime and A prime, A double prime and A prime center, this one. B double prime and B triple prime, same center, and C double prime, C triple prime. Okay, let's have this one here. We have the A triple prime or the A prime, B triple prime, C triple prime is projected using S3 as the center of perspectivity, or is perspective with A prime, still A prime, just one. Serves as our, okay, A triple prime, this one. So A prime and then B triple prime with this a center of perspectivity is a perspective with B prime. And then C triple prime with the center of perspectivity is perspective with C prime. So we have three series of perspectivities. We have three perspectivities here. And we can say already that A, B, C is projected into A prime, B prime, C prime using this series of perspectivities. Done. Okay, let us have a different way of doing what we just did. So let's say, for example, we identify the first center of perspectivity on this point, or we will have this point as the center of perspectivity. Let's call it S sub 1. And we will have A, B, and C perspective with A double prime, B double prime, C double prime on this line. So we have for A, so this is A double prime. For B, okay, this is B double prime. And for C, this is C double prime. And then what we're going to do is we will follow the steps in projecting these 3 points on this line L2 to these points A prime, B prime, C prime on L1. We're just adding one step here. So what is the step that we're going to do next? We will have connect A double prime and A prime. Identify any point on it as the center of perspectivity. Okay, but before that, we will write first our perspective here in the first part. A, B, C perspective with A double prime, B double prime, C double prime with S1 as the center of perspectivity. Okay, we will use this time S2. So we have A double prime perspective with center S2 with A prime. And then identify a line on A prime. Identify a line through A prime not containing B prime and C prime. Let's say, and we will have the perspectives of C double prime and B double prime on that line. Let's call that line L3. So on L3, the image of B double prime is this B triple prime. So we have B double prime, B triple prime. And then for C double prime, the image is here, C triple prime. So C double prime, the image is C triple prime. Okay, last, connect C prime and C triple prime. Identify the intersection with B prime, B triple prime. C triple prime and C prime. Okay, let's use a different color. Okay, that's connecting C prime and C triple prime so that C triple prime and C prime are perspective. Of course, we will use the same A prime and A triple prime. A prime and A triple prime are the same. So we have A prime. Yeah, correct. A triple prime, and then A triple prime and A prime are the same, so A prime. Let's just use A prime. Here, A triple prime or A prime. And then C and the C triple prime with C prime. And then the B, because we should identify first the intersection. B triple prime and B prime. So where's the intersection? Why did I use black? Should be blue. B triple prime, prime. So the intersection is here. So let's call that S3. So that is our S3. So what our perspective with S3? C prime, C triple prime, and B triple prime, B prime. Okay, the center of perspectivity. So B triple prime, B prime. And A prime and A triple prime are just the same. So you can connect that to S3. So they are still perspective because they're the same point. So A prime and A triple prime and A prime. So we already have a series of perspectivities, and we can say that this ABC is projected into A prime, B prime, C prime. Done. Thank you for exploring the elegance of projective transformations. Now, take a pencil, construct your own mappings, and see how geometry comes alive in your hands. Kung nagustuhan mo ang video, mag-like at mag-subscribe. Pwede mo rin itong ibahagi sa iyong mga kaibigan na mahilig sa mathematics para sabay tayong matuto. Padayon sa pagtanaw, magkomento sang imo mga pamangkot o kon ideya. Kag updanay kita sa mas madalom pa nga pagdiskubre sa projective geometry. Till next time, bye-bye!